Today is kind of a relaxed, not very structured. Yeah, it was just going to be. I started doing some work this morning, and then I realized that it would probably benefit other people to see some of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to walk through some of my processes in creating design elements that are going to be used for our new leather etch picture frame. This picture frame can come in. It's set up to where it could be in two different orientations. And so we're going to kind of, talk through just what I do to set this product up and get things rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and also this is just going to be on the Adobe side of things. I'm not going to go into, because I haven't even actually added this as a product in my Easy Monogram yet. And so I'll do a separate video later for actually, putting this product design on my website. But today's just going to be on the Adobe side. So I'm going to go ahead and get into Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to be providing these files. So I got that new from template, and we're going to go into, I want the MEM6 production file template, but I'll just go ahead and see if it'll let me open both of them. So this is the live preview template where we've got all of the colors, and then we've also got the design and background layer. And in this layer, this is to demonstrate the work zone. And you can see over here, we call this delete before exporting. And so let me get this. So I want to do this at call that at 225. Okay, so that is this is an accurate representation of the design area that we have to work with. And so like you see here in the layers, delete me before exporting the SVG. That's going to just get rid of everything that's not your design. Everything that is your design just needs to be in this design layer. So I've got some files. Let me pull in here that I got from a website called designbundles.net. Designbundles.net has a ton of great design resources. Would definitely advise you guys go check that out. So I'm going to paste some of the files that I've gotten from there if it'll let me. All right, so we've got Mr. and Mrs. Let's see if I can copy and paste this. What on earth? There we go. So we've got this Mr. and Mrs. design, and I'm kind of wanting to do a this is our first Christmas kind of feeling. Obviously, we've got Christmas coming up, so let me see. Want to paste this in as well. So we've got the our first Christmas engaged 2021, and I've also got this Mr. and Mrs. Sign. I want to try to find. So I want to try to find a way to make them, mesh together. So I actually found. I want to get rid of this one and replace it because this one has the as married. And so I want to go ahead and take everything that I've got going on here, and I want to do the image trace because right now this is just a PNG. we want to vectorize the PNG. And to do so, we would click on the image, and then we'd click image trace. And I typically go with silhouette. And so it did what I wanted to. There's nothing I would change. You've got the ability to adjust, thicknesses and thresholds and whatnot. This is something that you guys obviously can play with to find the right fit for you. But I'm just going to go ahead. Once I've finished, and this is the way that I want it to, now I want to expand it. And so you can see how everything just got like outlined with blue. That's telling me that everything here is now a path. So right now, everything is still acting as one unit. That's because it's all grouped together. So if I click on this ungroup, and I click off, and I click back in, now I can modify individual elements. So I know I want everything up top to be together. So I want to create a group out of everything up top. This married section I want to get away with, or do away with. And these, the year here I want to get away with. And so our first Christmas as, now I'm going to do all of that the same with the Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. I'm sorry. I'm going to click on the image trace, silhouette. And again, I like how this is, so I'm just going to click expand. And so now I can take this, place it roughly up top. I also want these leaves to act as one unit. I want them to stay together, so I'm going to group them. And so now they all move together. And I want to start tweaking this to where everything fits. Everything fits appropriately. I want to align these two, and then I'm going to go set my width on this to, we'll call that like 200, just to see how it spaces out. Actually, going to put this at 300. That's a little bit too much, so let's go back to 250. And now I can slide this up, I can slide this down, and see if I like that. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about the about these leaves right here, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave that for now. I'm also going to put in a line of text. I'm going to spread that all the way across. I want to set its angle to 0. And right click on the type tool, type on a path. I'm going to click on the left anchor. And just going to type in sample. Now I want to increase my font size, so we'll call it 100. And center align. Now let's look at some fonts. And let's see. Probably just stick with Arbutus Slab. That's one that I use a lot. Century, actually, yeah, let's do Century. Just looks a little bit crisper. So I'm going to bump up my font size until I get it where I want. I'd say that's probably good. And so now I would say I'm done with the design. But I do want this whole thing to obviously fit in that space provided. And this is where things may be a little bit tricky because we've got multiple orientations. And for now, this might change, but for simplicity on the production side, if we don't have to flip the product, it would be a lot simpler. So at this point, I'm thinking that that if you want it to be in the vertical orientation, this would be the horizontal orientation. If you want it in the vertical orientation, you would just drop the design element. Actually, you know what? Forget everything I just said. I'm going to fix it. We're going to have a horizontal and vertical for you guys. And so I'll actually just make that in Adobe real quick while I'm talking about it. So real quick, my artboard here was 175 by 100. I'm going to create a new, let's call this, 1 second. All right, so this is the appropriate artboard for you. So I'm just going to take everything here and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to just delete that that original design file because we're dealing with a different orientation. And so now I want to set my max height. This was at 175. So I can see that I'm a little bit wider than I need to be. So I'm going to actually just set this to 95 width. And that, 50, so we're centered properly there. And at 85. So now when I look at my layers, and again, sorry, let me zoom in on this so you can see it a little bit better. Go solo. All right. So looking at the layers, again, we need to have the proper layer structure. And so this is going to be the design layer. So the design layer contains everything. And then we're going to call this layer name. And we're going to put our text inside of that layer. And then this is going to be static. It's going to go under name, and everything else is going to go into the static layer. And so it's very, very well organized that we've got the name in its own layer, and that layer is called name. And then everything that's not changing is static, and we put it in its own layer, and we call that layer static. And then obviously everything is contained within the design layer. So now I can copy this and go to our live preview file. If you notice, all of these are in the horizontal orientation. All I have to do here is rotate it. Yeah, went the wrong way with that. So we're at 90 degrees on the rotation, and all I have to do now is I'm going to click here and paste. And so now our design layer is dropped in, and I'm just going to position it where it needs to be. So I'm going to increase my width on this to call this 350. So that's too wide. Let's go, let's do 300. Let's do 320. All right. And I would say that that is good. And so our first Christmas as Mr. and Mrs. Sample, and I just put sample there so that just a placeholder. And so now I want to look at the adding a background to this. Of course, there's a ton that you can do. I want to go on to Envato Elements real quick, and I'll actually show you guys that process. So Windows here, share. So this is designbundles.net. But then I'm going to go to Envato Elements, probably botching how I say that. And I just want to look for Christmas couple photo. And let's look in photos. And I want to find a picture that's, we'll say, in kind of a nice vertical orientation. I'm going to go ahead and so this is a challenge. All right, I'm going to go with this one just for fun. Live preview. And I'm just going to drop this into my downloads. Cool. And then I also want, so that's actually going to be the image that I'm putting in the picture frame. Crap, I just realized I'm not even sharing that. 1 second. All right, so yeah, I just selected this one image here, and I want to use that to put, that couple will be actually in the picture frame. But now I want a like the actual background itself. So Christmas, we'll call this like table and presents. Just searching by some keywords. And let's see. Sorry, I get pretty picky about this kind of stuff. Let's go with this. I like that one. Let's go download that as well. Save. All right, so now I'm going to go back to Adobe. And I'm going to go ahead and hide both of these layers. I want to copy and paste those two designs that I just created, or that I just downloaded, to this. All right. So I've got the two images, and we go ahead and drop this layer below the colors. And I want to go ahead and show this. And the only purpose for this that I'm doing right now is, as I'm going to resize this picture. Actually, I hate doing it like that. I always mess up the aspect ratio. So I'm going to go to properties, just set my width to 600. All right, so reshoot to 500. And we'll say that that's how we want it. I'm going to crop the image. And I really just want to crop that image to fit loosely in this space. I don't have to be too technically accurate here. And you'll see why here in a second. Increase this and apply. All right, so we've got that. And now I want the background itself be a minimum of, let's call this 1100, so that we're fitting in that space properly. And maybe I want to slide over, get some candles, or maybe I want the presents. If you go up to view and you hit trim view, it'll clean that up for you, so you can get a better understanding of what you're actually looking like. All right, so So I think I would rather have that present in view. And so now I can actually take all of these layers, and I want to take the couples image, and I do not want, if it'll let me, 1 second. So I want that, I want that, and I want that. All right. So I can actually go ahead and shift this over and down on the screen, kind of make it look a little bit more, natural in the space provided. And so now I've got this spaced out where I want it. I can go ahead and I want to hide these 2 layers. And I just want to get a simplified image of this whole Christmas tree and product image. Because in the live preview, these are very high resolution images, and it's going to take a long time for everything to load. And it would just be much better if you do what I'm doing here, which is the export. Sorry, do file, export, save for web. And in the save for web dialog, you can see that so I actually can decrease my size here to like 700 pixels. And that brought if you look down here at the bottom, the size of that PNG, it used to be over 300. Now it's less than 200. And it's these little things that just really boost the performance of the product live preview. So if I actually put this at 500, I'm down to less than 100 now. And you'll see when I actually bring this in, it doesn't really change the aesthetics of the image at all. It's not grainy. It's not, especially most of your people are on their phone. And so I'm going to drop that PNG. And now I'm going to take everything that's in this layer 1, and I'm actually going to delete layer 1. All of that background image stuff, because now I want to import and copy and paste the output file that I just created. And so I want to put this at 500, 500, and 1,000. And you can see it's still, I mean, this is extremely zoomed in on a very large monitor. At the size that the customer would actually be seeing, it's perfectly, the resolution isn't going to bother them at all. And so I just want to take that image and I want to put that in my background layer, and let's just get rid of that layer 1 again. And so now I can show this and just kind of giving you some other examples of how this might look for your customer. And so yeah, that's it's kind of all I wanted to get at today, at least specifically in this video, is again less on the technical, less on the technical side of things, more so just trying to show you guys the variety of options that you guys have here. When we were designing this whole system, I did so really wanting to give you guys the freedom to do as much as possible. And there's some merchants that we had that said, hey, like, you just need to get out of our way, give us the tools and get out of our way. And so that's what we're doing here. It is a little bit more technical than some people might be comfortable with. We're going to be improving that as we move forward. Obviously it's my job to remove as many bottlenecks for you guys as possible. This is just where we are today. And so yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely reach